How's life? Everything's great. You know, YouTube changes might affect a lot of channels, including me, and maybe Matt Visual won't be so visual anymore, you know? What is up, guys, and welcome to another Q&A. And first up, Shampoo Studio says, Matt, what do you think about the possibility of a tier 2 legendary that you can use the original legendaries as precursors? I think it really does sound good on paper, but when it comes down to it, if they actually would do that, tier 2 legendaries, what are you going to get out of it? What is going to be the worth out of trading in a legendary that you spend so much time on for a tier 2 so-called legendary? At this point, there's so many weapons that have different amount of effects on them that are not legendaries. Why go upgrade to tier 2 just for cosmetic effects? No, you're gonna have to add damage or some type of gameplay mechanic change. And they won't do that because they have this system in place where legendaries upgrade with the highest tier, which is now ascended gear. That will always be there. You know, if they start adding more damage and stuff to it, is it gonna be, you know, it's gonna keep going up and there'll always be like 100 more damage on legendaries? They're not gonna do any of that stuff anyway, because people would complain. I already hear people raging right now as they're listening to this video. Me personally, I think it would be cool, but I just don't see it being put into the game. It just is, there's no place for it right now. Instead of adding tier 2 legendaries, they probably should just work on the ones they already have, and of course add more for people who don't like the legendaries that are already out there. I mean, they already came out with, okay, you can switch your stats to any stat combo you want on your legendary. That's already a really good feature that doesn't affect everyone saying, oh, I have a legendary, that means I do more damage. No, I have a legendary and it's convenient. They can also do it if you want to go more into cosmetic. You can switch the colors of your legendary so you can look different than other people that have a legendary, that have the same legendary. So if you have a sunrise and, you know, it's generally a certain color, sometimes it's mostly the sun, right? Maybe you can give it a tint, I guess you can say, so it still has the same effects. It still shows the sky, but now it's a little green or a little blue or a little red, and that would cause problems with Twilight. So I don't know how that would work, but there's lots of little ways. Maybe change the color of the handle, right? The handle of the legendaries. They, you know, back in Guild Wars 1 days, you were able to change the color of your weapons, and that was great, you know, but you can't do that now. So maybe they should bring it back for legendaries. I don't know, you know, it shouldn't be overcomplicated. Maybe just the hilt of the weapon, not actually the part that, you know, makes it a legendary, which is for me the sunrise, which is the blade itself. Kenny W says, yo, when classes start getting each other's weapons, which weapons does your class need? Which weapons should your class never get? And when they finally add new weapons, what will be your first pick? Okay, my main is my Guardian, but I've been recently playing other classes, mostly my Engineer right now, leveling that up. So what weapon does my Guardian need? My Guardian needs a range weapon. I mean a good, fast range weapon, not some slow scepter crap, which they've kept upgrading and it's gotten a little better, but it's still just not exactly how we want it. We kind of want a bow. I kind of want a short bow or a long bow or a gun. Oh my gosh, a Guardian with a gun would be so awesome. But it also depends on the skills. I don't know how a gun would work with a Guardian. Also, it all depends on what skills they're actually going to give. You know, the bow Guardian or the gun Guardian is going to be support skills that you can shoot stuff on them, like, you know, the heal and stuff, or is it going to actually be damage driven, you know, like the great sword? It all depends on what they do with that as well. What weapon should never come to the Guardian class? I'm not going to really hate on any of the weapons. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to say, no, don't give me a new weapon, please, to change up gameplay. But I guess my least favorite to come to the Guardian would be an axe, because it's just another melee weapon, and I don't really want another melee weapon unless it's adding something to the combination that you already have. Maybe something, I mean, we already have mostly really good support weapons, but what about some damage weapons, you know? So I don't know. My first pick for new weapons would be a sniper. I want to snipe people from 3,000 range. Yeah, nah. Of course, that would be OP. But what I really want is an actual polearm or a staff that's actually melee. Not like a staff like what's on a Necro or Elementalist, but an actual staff that you can fight with, like a fighting staff. Or it could be called a battle staff, where you can cast spells and fight at the same time. Can you imagine like an Elementalist or a Guardian with that. You know, it's like casting spells while kicking some booty with, you know, skill 1. You know, I can see that. Sam Britt says, my account was hacked and this is why I have a pony as my profile pic. Yeah, you know you want that pony there. I don't want to hear your excuses. His question is, do you think they should add more visually appealing armor for low levels, blues and greens, to show the demand for those specific drops? Let me start off by saying it's probably not high on their list of things to do, but I think this could be really cool to, you know, to feel awesome while people level up. Actually, a lot of people take a long time to level up in Guild Wars 2. They kind of take their time and, you know, kind of be wrapped into the experience of leveling up and exploring the areas and going around in the jumping puzzles and the zones and completing all the hearts and finding all the dynamic events and all this stuff and very experiencing the world. And all that is kind of trumped when you look at your character and it's just like, what is this gray crap, and any, you know, dye that I put on it sucks. There are a few blues and greens that do have some really cool skins there. They're not as quite as flashy, of course, as the more expensive weapons, but there are some out there. Yes, only a handful, but there's a handful of weapons that I have in my bank. Yeah, with all these skins, and I have just no space in my bank. But I, you know, like the Johto sword, that's also like level 20-ish. There's also another sword that has like this Azuran architecture in it, and this nice little glowing, I can't remember. I think it's a focus. That's also pretty cool. But there's not a lot of choices, especially in the armor department. Mostly all the armor is kind of weird. There is a set that I like that I have on my thief right now that looks really good, and it's a low level armor. But to see, yeah, there's not much of it out there. So long story short, yes, definitely they should add more. I don't know if it's high on their priority list, but yeah. Dag Team Review says, I am only level 25, so I'm a bit of a scrub. I am an elementalist and I'm trying to do the early levels. But because I have low health and there is no one to help me to get through these levels, is there anything you could suggest, or will there be an update? No, there probably won't be an update. Maybe they might fix something that make the elementalist a little bit more better to play with and easier to level up while you're leveling, but that's just how the elementalist is until you get to level 80 and you can switch up the builds and get like the best armor. So I leveled an elementalist to 80, so I kind of know what you're talking about. It's a little bit harder to get used to the elementalist. You have to constantly use movement, especially if you're new to the game. You can't just sit there and spam skills. So the first thing I suggest is a lot of movement, a lot of dodging, know your skills, know your weapons, pick something that's range and constantly stay ranged and don't, you know, go in close if you don't know how to dodge and stuff like that. Another thing is buy armor that is to your level. So if you're level 25 right now, buy level 25 armor with some toughness or some vitality on it. Another thing is being over leveled in the zone. If you're having trouble with a zone, if you're level 25 and you haven't done any other the 1 through 15 zones, go back and do those and level up a little bit more. Or, you know, you don't have to go to the level 1 through 15. You can go to the 15 to 25, for instance, and keep doing those until you're like level 30-ish, and then move up to another one. And also, if you're still under leveled and you hit that plateau like around 40-ish, do your personal story. If you enjoy it, you're new to the game, so you haven't done a personal story yet, so you enjoy it. Just go in there, do your personal story, and get over leveled. And that would definitely help you get through all these, I guess, harder areas. If you have any other tips, make sure you leave it down in the description below, and hopefully he's listening to this and he can actually read your comments. But also, you should probably get a guild that wouldn't mind helping you, maybe. I know it's kind of hard to find a guild that says, hey, I'm new to your guild, can you help me level? You know, like, it's a little weird. Finding a guild that's that friendly, it's, yeah, it's tough. Your name reminds me of Monty Python. Sir Lancelot says, for the role players in Guild Wars 2, my question is chairs. Will there be chairs to sit on in the coming future of Guild Wars 2? Probably. Maybe you should just make a section in the forum just called chairs. That's a brilliant marketing campaign. Just chairs, and why we need people to sit in chairs. I think that could work. That could work. Maybe sleep in beds. I remember going around in Divinity's Reach and finding all these houses when I was playing hide and seek with an old guild. An old YouTuber called Pholetic that used to do Guild Wars 2 videos had this hide and seek game, and there was a lot of rooms, a lot of beds, and I was just like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, but you can't use any of them. So you know, I wouldn't mind being able to do that. I don't know how high it's on their priority list, but, you know, why not add it in? It will be really good for role players and people who want to do machinimas, and it'll be really cool for someone to use a chair tonic and sit on them. Extreme Pyrosonic says, wow, I'm guessing this is a future game by the Sonic team. I'm pretty sure. What do you think of legendary dragon weapons? I mean, you are on a quest to defeat all the elder dragons. It would be nice to turn their scales, claws, and teeth into weapons of your choice. And you can choose which dragon you want your weapon to be based on. First of all, you're probably playing a little bit too much Monster Hunter. Second, heck yeah, why not? Who doesn't want to kill the elder dragon and take their bones and use it to craft some epic legendary? But, you know, it's probably a little bit ways off, and probably the least favorite dragon I would want to go with is the Zaitan, because Zaitan was just too easy to kill and was an epic boss fight, and it's probably going to be like the only legendary weapon that's extremely cheap, because everyone can just kill Zaitan. Anyways, guys, if you want to disagree or agree with me, put it down in the comments below. Also, if you want to leave a question for the next video, also leave that down below. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be gone next week for Christmas, going down to see my family. So you guys have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holiday or Xmas or whatever you want to call it. Happy Winter's Day. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching and stay visual.